Greetings YouTube, this is Remarkable Republican here once again to bring you the truth of a truth-flavored bias. I just finished playing Yakuza 0 and I have a lot of thoughts about the character of Goro Majima. In this video I will argue why, in the context of Yakuza 0, he is the apex homosexual. To prove that Goro Majima is the apex homosexual, we first have to look at the evidence that he is a homosexual. This is never made explicit in the game Yakuza 0, however, the context clues make it irrefutable. Majima is an expert in hospitality management. This is a field which normally does not attract heterosexual males. He works at two cabarets, the Grand and Sunshine Club. Technically, the Sunshine is a cabaret club as opposed to a full cabaret, but the difference is pretty minimal. And his sort of slogan is that the customer is king. So his idea is to serve like a woman and treat his customers like the man of the house, the king of the castle. He makes himself an effeminate figure with a ponytail in order to make the men who visit his establishment feel that they are being looked up to and also respected. He teaches his women to please men the way that he does. He is intimately aware of what men want because he is a man-pleasing guy. The girls he trains consider him easy to talk to because he's not interested in girls. So there's no pressure on them. They don't have to worry about him saying something out of school. They don't have to worry about him hitting on them or anything of that nature. He also has traits which are recognized by Dog, Shimano, and others, that despite being a good fighter, Majima has a lot of effeminate attributes and that he was very good at pleasing men. Basically, they understood that he was gay, but didn't really say anything. In Yakuza 0, we also learn about Majima's lost lover, Taiga Saejima. Majima was willing to throw his life away for his friend, Saejima, when the two of them planned together to massacre 36 people. The fact that they were in a situation like that together and resolved to go down swinging together does heavily imply that the two men are in fact lovers. One simply doesn't throw one's life away for a friend in this way. The romantic feelings that Majima has for Saejima are still strong, even though he hasn't seen his friend in 3 years by the time of the events of Yakuza 0, and also there's not really much chance that Saejima will survive given that he's on death row. But rather than move on, Majima is still very much attached to his lost lover. Majima has many chances in Yakuza 0 to hook up with interested and mostly very attractive women. However, he turns them all down because, again, his love interest is Saejima. A number of people have misinterpreted this game and think that he is attracted to Makoto, but in fact, Majima's love interest is the absent but ever-present Saejima. Just to emphasize the point about how many women Majima has who express interest in him, basically all 6 of the premium hostesses at the Sunshine Cabaret Club express some level of attraction to him. If he were to press or flirt back, then perhaps he would have a good shot with pretty much any of them. One of them actually matches with his lifestyle perfectly, and that is Chika, the woman he wins from Club Venus. She says very explicitly that she prefers men who are self-centered and likes guys who are a little bit on the wild side. As a Yakuza, Majima would really fit her taste. He's definitely living on the edge, and because that means he'll have to do a lot of selfish things in order to remain a Yakuza, it means that he will be able to keep her interest pretty easily. The other hostesses, when they found out a lot of the truth about what he was willing to do, and some of his past, such as his gay relationship with Saejima, etc., might have been turned off, but Chika seems to be attracted to that kind of man, so I feel like if he had any sense at all, he would have pursued Chika. He also collects the porn cards that you can find in Kiryu's game as well. However, he is very explicit whenever he talks about these cards with either the porn store guy or the libido guy that he's only interested in looking for new hostesses for his clubs. And indeed, you spend quite a bit of time as Majima recruiting new hostesses. When he recruits gold, silver, and bronze hostesses, he never shows any romantic interest in them either. He doesn't flirt with them or tell them that they're good looking. He simply just gives them stuff. So he gives them purses and perfume, or beats them at dancing or what have you, and that for him is sufficient. One of the strongest hints that we get about Majima's sexuality comes from what we learn about his hobbies. He is a huge fan of both karaoke and disco dancing. That being said, neither of those things is inherently gay, but the combination pretty much is. There are no heterosexual males who are interested in both karaoke and disco dancing. Let's look at some more of the evidence. The song 24 Hour Cinderella that he always sings whenever he does karaoke is about being a woman. That's a very strange topic for a man to want to sing about. He has an imagined pop star persona when he's really killing it as a karaoke artist, and effectively his costume is just a ripoff of the lead singer from Dead or Alive from the song You Spin Me Right Round Like a Record. And that guy not only had the eye patch just like Majima, but was also very, very gay. At the Maharaja Dance Club, Majima gains notice from Asobi, who was considered to be a really hot dancer, because of his dancing, and then he notices her dancing, not that she's supposed to be hot, which is what the libido guy notices about Asobi. Majima really doesn't show any interest in Asobi romantically, and if anything, he seems a little more interested in some of her male orbiters, the old guy and then the gatekeeper guy. So it's very strange, and really the only explanation is that Majima is not interested in women. He must be a homosexual. Like many homosexuals, Majima is someone with some serious daddy issues. His story in Yakuza 0 is forged by his relationship with two older father figures, Shimano and Sagawa. These two men are sworn brothers, and they both manipulate Majima in different ways. Shimano was the guy who punished him for his earlier offenses with his boyfriend Sejima, and broke him, cutting out his eye and doing some other stuff, and then put him on loan to Sagawa, who knew that Majima had hospitality skills and decided to make him the manager of the Grand Cabaret in Sotenbori. Shimano knew that Majima was predictable and would not murder Mikado, and this implies that he was emotionally manipulating Majima because he understood him really well. After all, he had kept him in a cage effectively for a long time, and he pretty much knew what Majima would do. When Majima figures out that he has been manipulated by these guys, and I don't know how he missed that part given that he was making money hand over fist for Sagawa, and Shimano had tortured him horribly and then set him semi-free, but basically on loan to his good friend. I'm not sure why Majima thought he had free will up to that point, but maybe he just is a bit of a slow learner. Anyway, he eventually, when he does learn that he's being manipulated by them after they effectively tell him, he rebels against them by wearing a snakeskin jacket and getting a really dumb haircut, because by doing this he makes himself less classy and less able to run something like the Grand. So this is an act of rebellion, and this kind of sort of teenage style act of rebellion against an older male authority figure is very much something that a homosexual would do toward a father figure. By the end of Yakuza 0, Goro Majima has evolved into the Mad Dog of Shimano, the sort of persona that he has in all of the other Yakuza games. How does he get to this point? Well, I've already pointed that out. The Mad Dog persona was born out of his daddy issues, and when he became the Mad Dog of Shimano, he effectively became the apex homosexual of the Yakuza world. What he does is he uses his persona as the Mad Dog of Shimano in order to pursue his own homosexual agenda at the expense of others. So a lot of people with the homosexual agenda, what they try to do is get special rights or whatever. With Majima, he was looking for an excuse to go out and do crazy stuff, and also to do the activities that he wants to do without it being weird or suspect. If people think he's just crazy, they won't ask why he's not getting women, or why he's spending so much time doing male bondage with his friends and acquaintances. And also, his acts of violence won't seem like frustrated acts of someone who is just sexually deprived from having to suppress his homosexuality, but rather they will seem like the doings of a somewhat unhinged guy wearing a snakeskin jacket. So the whole Mad Dog of Shimano persona only really makes sense if we understand that Goro Majima is in fact a homosexual, and that he is acting as the apex homosexual after he takes on this persona. I would say as soon as he dons that jacket, he effectively becomes the Mad Dog and ascends to the rank of apex homosexual. Until next time, this has been Remarkable Republican, bringing you the truth, a truth-flavored bias, signing out.